everyone. Welcome to Cricket Farming as one of the ways of fighting climate change. Climate change is real, and today we are taking you to Mixer Farm to learn all the nitty-gritties and how you can start the process of cricket farming. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the link so that together we can all learn about cricket farming, which is going to increase household income while we are fighting climate change. I'm your host, Anne Okello, and this is Sustainable Innovation YouTube channel.
Hi everyone, hi world. I am Charity Kelsey, a student of zoology at Egerton University, currently a cricket attendant at Mixer Cricket Farm. I'm 22 years of age, and so I find it a privilege as a youth to work at Mixer Cricket Farm, which is an upcoming thing globally, as entomophagy is something that is encouraged globally due to the increase in population, and it's a great impact on the climate change and to we youths on youth empowerment, employment. Don't forget women, for I am a woman. Women empowerment is key globally and in our nation today, Kenya. Thank you. As a cricket attendant at Mixer Cricket Farm and a zoology student at Egerton University, working in Mixer Cricket Farm as a youth has been of great advantage. Number one thing, due to the great global increase, due to the increase of population globally, the land, the arable land has become more limited, and you get that a lot of population is there, but there is no food. So food security has become a major focus of every farmer globally, and that's why cricket comes in as a major food security due to its high protein content. That is, one single cricket contains 65% of protein, and rearing cricket it's very easy and very cheap because of the small space that it acquires compared to other sources of proteins such as cows and other domesticated animals. So I'll be taking you through the process of what our day-to-day activities in a cricket farm, what you need to do, what you need to know to rear your crickets and get your income. You'll be focusing also on the climate change. We'll also be focusing on the food security. Hope you're going to enjoy and learn as we go through. The first thing you do in your cricket facility, due to the climate in our region, you start by regulating the temperature. Regulating the temperature is by opening all the windows and the doors and ensuring that all the ventilations are properly open. Crickets needs a temperature of 28 to 32 degrees Celsius. This is done during the day due to the higher temperatures in our region. But during the night, when the temperatures are low, you ensure that all the windows and all the doors are closed. That is to maintain the range of temperature to help in the higher cricket production. The second thing you need to do is to check onto the activities that took place in the previous day in your rearing unit. Your rearing unit can be a pen system or can be a crate system. The activities that take place in a pen are like laying of the eggs. You are checking on the chipping sounds. You are checking on the feeding habit or the feeding trend in the cricket. This will help you determine the health of the cricket and or even the activeness of the cricket in a pen. And then the third thing you are doing, cricket are mostly dependent on hygiene. Hygiene is very paramount, but both external and internal hygiene are very paramount in cricket facility. What you need to do, you supply the crickets with fresh feed, you supply them with fresh water and everything. You wash their dishes, their feed trays, their water drinkers. You remove the poo. That is for the internal hygiene. For the external hygiene, you ensure that the environment around the cricket facility is very clean. Being cricket is very dependent on hygiene. That is thorough hygiene, mark that. One need to wash the cricket utensils, the dishes, the drinkers, the pebbles every morning before supplying them with fresh water and fresh feed again.
Where do you put those things?
These are pebbles. Here we call them pebbles. They prevent the crickets from drowning. Yes. After regulating the temperature in your cricket facility, you now check into the activities that took place in the previous night in the cricket rearing units. And in cricket rearing units, in Mixer Cricket Farm, we have two types of the rearing units. We have the pen system. The difference between the pen system and the crate system, number one is the structure, and number two is the quantity of the crickets they both carry. In Mixer Cricket Farm, we have two types of pens. We have a concrete pen and we have a wooden portable pen. A concrete pen is mounted on the ground and it's majorly made of concrete. While a portable pen, it's made of wood and it's portable. You can carry it from one place to the other. In a pen system, that is a pen rearing unit, we have what we call hideouts. These are normal egg trays. You know, in the wild, crickets love hiding. And the same thing when they are domesticated, you have to introduce them to their places of hiding. Number one, hiding reduces cannibalism amongst cricket. It reduces overcrowding amongst cricket, and it's that crickets are nocturnal. Mostly we always hear crickets cry, more active during the night, even in our houses. They are more active during the night. So during the day, sometimes crickets need somewhere to hide. We also have a feed in the rearing unit. The feed is just a normal layers mash. We opted for the commercial feed because it's well balanced. It has all the nutrients, because crickets majorly depends on the nutrients in the feed. That is what makes them have their high production. We also have the drinkers. These are normal chicken drinkers, but here we call them cricket water drinkers. We have pebbles introduced into the drinkers. The pebbles are just to prevent the crickets from drowning in the water. And if you check keenly in the rearing unit, the crates are raised by some timber strands. This is number one, to help us. We had said before that crickets are highly dependent on hygiene, and so this one helps us to clean the cricket pen, and two, it helps us determine the death rate in a cricket pen. We also have a slippery surface in a cricket. The white tiles you see in a cricket pen, these are we call it a slippery surface. We don't call it tiles in a cricket farm. You can also introduce a slippery surface using a sellotape. This prevents the crickets from walking away from the rearing unit. So each time they try to escape from the rearing unit, they slide back into the pen, and thus increase the source of production in your cricket farm. So in a pen system, we have two types of crickets. When two types of crickets. You can, in a rearing unit of a pen, you can have a consumption cricket. The difference between consumption cricket and a parent stock cricket, it's just the layout in the pen and the duration that they take to harvesting. A consumption cricket takes 74 days to be harvested, and a parent stock takes 84 to 90 days to be harvested. And the difference between a consumption cricket and a parent stock is that the consumption crickets are majorly reared for consumption. That is, they are harvested before their last molt. Now that is, your food will not be having the hooks and the wings because they will not be fully developed at that stage. While a parent stock, these are crickets that are reared for laying eggs. They are the ones that we say supplies the farm and adds the chain so that the chain doesn't cut. This is an example of a parent stock. Due to the layout in here, what makes difference between a parent stock and a consumption pen is this is an egg laying container. This is where we collect our eggs. The female cricket deposits its eggs in this container, in the substance in this container, and the substance in this container is called a substrate. What is a substrate? A substrate is a forest soil or a compost manure soil that is heated. That is the process. Heating is the process of sterilization, actually to kill the bacteria that are inside here. So to kill all the bacteria that and any other micro living organism in the soil. So note that the substrate should not be any other soil. What you can use as a substrate, you can use a cocoa pit, rice husk with sand, that is sterilized rice sand with sand. You cannot just go and pick any other soil to come and use, because female crickets are very choosy. Number one, where to lay their eggs. The female, we are very choosy, and that's it. So even in insects like crickets, female crickets are very choosy. They will not just lay their eggs anywhere. The substrates must be kept moist for the female crickets. We love ourselves, so you have to keep the soil moist. You have to keep the substrate moist for the female cricket. And how to differentiate between a male and a female cricket in a rearing unit is by the three tails. We call them tails in a layman's language, but in science we call them the sarsi and an ovipositor. A male cricket only have two tails, that are the sarsies, and a female cricket has three tails, the ovipositor added in between. That is, the ovipositor is in between the two sarsies. An ovipositor is a long tail that a cricket uses to deposit, that a female cricket deposits its eggs in a substrate. In our society today, everyone talks about women empowerment. Your definition of a woman empowerment is how you pursue it. But to us as young girls, as women, we know that empowerment is just, in a layman's language, just holding our hands and leaving us to do the rest for ourselves. The same applies to the crickets. The female crickets, when they are going to lay their eggs, they need also to be empowered. That is, you need a short strand of wood. In a cricket farm, we call it a climber. The female cricket uses a climber to climb when it's going to deposit its egg into the substrate. To know that the cricket has laid eggs, you'll check into your egg-laying container and see some small rice-like structures. Those are now the cricket eggs. After every 3 days, you collect your eggs from your rearing unit. It's either the rearing unit if it's the pen system or if it's the crate system. You collect the eggs by taking the substrate into an hatchery. An hatchery is a special crate in a cricket facility that is kept in the warmest part of the cricket facility. All the ventilations of the crate are blocked. You can use a cardboard or just a paper, just as we have used here. This one is to create a micro environment here, because the humidity content in the hatchery unit should be higher. That is, the substrate should always be kept moist and not wet. If wet, the eggs will drown, and if too dry, the eggs will not hatch. And two, when this temperature, this microclimate is created in here, it enables the crickets to hatch and develop within 9 to 15 days. And after that, you'll start seeing the peanuts popping from the substrate. After 3 days, you can start the installation process, that is introducing them to the rearing unit. These are peanuts that are developing to maturity. We have something called a cricket ruler in Mixer Cricket Farm that helps us determine the sizes of the cricket. Roughly, I can say this one is size 3 to 4, and that they have not acquired that age that we can introduce to them hideouts. And two, they have not reached that age where we can introduce them drinkers that has pebbles. So we use pieces of blankets on a petri dish that are wet for them to drink water. They actually suck water from the blankets. Harvesting is the last stage in a cricket farm, and that's the reason why we rear the crickets. And this is how we know that the consumption of the crickets are going to start. So a day before harvesting, you starve the crickets for 24 hours. That is not giving them food, but only giving them water. The reason why we starve the crickets is to clear the gut of the crickets. in a layman's language, is to empty the intestines and remove any poo that remained inside the cricket. During the day of harvesting is done early in the morning to give the cricket enough time to dry throughout the day. So the first thing you do the day of harvesting, you open the cricket pen that to be harvested and remove the water drinkers that you introduced the previous day. After removing the water drinkers, you come in with your harvesting basket that should be long and inside should be slippery to prevent the cricket from walking away during the harvesting period. You pick up the egg trays, that is the hideouts in the cricket pen, one after the another, and gently shake them. Inside your harvesting basket. You check thoroughly in the crates if there is any cricket remaining. You repeat the process one after the other. After harvesting, you take your crickets to the kitchen. That is, if you have a processing unit. In Mixer Farm, we have a processing unit where we process all our products in the farm. So we take our crickets to the processing unit, and the process of blanching begins. Blanching is just immersing the live crickets in hot water for 2 minutes. This is to kill them, and 2, to remove any bacteria that will be in cricket, that is reducing the microbial load in the crickets, and that making them clean and good for human health consumption. After blanching, immersing them in hot water, you ensure that you rinse them with warm water. From there, you take them into a solar dryer, you dry. And now the processing part of it begins, and consumption. You can consume them when they're dry. You can consume them unaiza mill into powder, and the bakery process starts.
Where we are right now is the end product of all things which we have been talking about within the Nyanza region. We have seen the cricket bread, we have seen moringa, we have seen the mango juice, and all varieties whatever we need. And this is what we call the primary health. There is no need for us to be going to the hospital. The hospital is a secondary health. But when we compare the doctor, whatever they take about every time, I will quote Dr. Tieno, who is based in coastal region, always normally tell our people to invest in the primary health so that we don't spend a lot of money going to the hospital. And actually today we are happy under eco-tourism, which we are doing today in Kisumu, that we are at farm of our members, Charles Odera, who is a very strong member and official of Game Farmers Center. Today we had here to witness.
Thanks so much for watching this episode, and please stay tuned in this channel for more educative videos like this. Thank you.